Puerto Rican kid, bald head, loves snakes, loves Blizzy, Sergio Chacon.
Yeah. What up, Pa?
Peace. Welcome to the DBS podcast. It's your boy Sergio Chacon, aka Blizzy Chacon. That shit's whack. I mean, it's always gonna be Dirtbag Shit podcast. The DBS podcast. Peace and welcome to the DBS podcast. It's your boy Sergio Chacon, and this afternoon I'm joined by an old friend. He's a hip hop artist, spoken word artist, if I may, or poet. Please welcome my man George LiteSkin Escalante.
Peace. Serge, man, pleasure, man. Thank you for having me.
I always, get a little worried when I get a last name I'm not familiar with. I was rolling my tongue and on the bike sound like Escalante.
Right.
I got it. That shit sound good.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
I got it, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
The way I'm talking about the way I say it.
Oh yeah, now you good. You good. You made it sound like, you know what I mean, like short of royalty and very close to Escalade. You know what I mean? Like, so, but Escalante, because man, Peruvian descent.
I'm one of those Puerto Ricans that I don't speak Spanish, so it's like there's nothing worse, man, than fucking not having the lingo. I gotta come correct. You speak Spanish?
Yeah, I do.
I could tell.
Yeah. I mean, I pull it out when I have to. It's just like that weapon that it lands on the side whenever you need it. You pull it out. But if not, I prefer not to, because I'm probably very embarrassing when doing so. You know what I'm saying? But I get it done. You know what I mean? I get it done. So yeah. But I mean, for the most part, man, it's as we all know, historically speaking, a lot of times it's just kind of expected or wanted that we don't know our cultural, weapons. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's good, man. I mean, even you not speaking, it doesn't mean that you're not culturally in tune to what it is that you know
it's funny because for years, I was mad, embarrassed about it.
Yeah.
And I was moving around.
Right.
Old ladies who spoke Spanish in the hood, like, nah, I'm crossing the street. Like, it was like a bully across. I was like, you not speaking Spanish? I'm like, fuck. So I would like dodge them,
Yeah, I hear
now
you.
I'm just like owning it. I'm like, I don't speak Spanish.
Right.
And that's it.
You still young, brother. You still work on it.
Yeah, I'm confident to say I gave up.
Then there's that. You know what I'm saying? Either one, whatever you choose.
I encourage people to give up. Sometimes you just gotta give up. So you don't have to deal with that mental turmoil that we put ourselves through. Sometimes you just gotta give up.
Sometimes you do, I guess. But I mean, language is just kind of like, language is really about practicing. So as they say, when you're younger, it's better to pick up a language just because your brain picks it up. You know what I mean? So maybe at our I don't want to say our tender age, but our tenderizing age, maybe it's harder. But nonetheless, man, pick it up. You know what I mean? And just practice at your own accord. Man.
I had an app, or maybe I bought it online. I forgot which one it was. It was one of these, they give you drills and shit to help you with Spanish. I did that shit hardcore for 2 hours. And I was done, G.
120 seconds, brother.
My daughter was enthusiastic about it. By the time I knew it, I was watching old Mike Tyson interviews, and she's on her tablet. Discipline is everything. And I have a lot of discipline in other areas of my life, but with that shit, I just wasn't doing it, man.
You said 2 hours. Wow, that's 120 minutes. I'm sorry.
That was it. It was like a 6-month program. I gave up.
Hey, listen, man.
2 hours collectively. I did it for like a week. 5 minutes here, 15 minutes there.
Okay. I mean,
I like it. You're very encouraging. No matter what bullshit, dirtbag shit I throw at you, you're like, that's okay. We'll work through this. I'll hold your hand through it.
Man. You know what it is? My motto, man, throughout everything, and I tell everybody this, man, when I pick up my phone, my personal phone, it's peace. You know what I'm saying? It's peace. When I hang up, it's peace. Peace to me stands for positive energy always causes elevation. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like at the end of the day, no matter what the turmoil or whatever the hurdles are, man, if your mentality is always on peace, now it doesn't mean in between the conversation we can't argue. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that we might beef. But I start the conversation with peace, end it with peace. So even if we at our most and we sitting there cursing each other out, I heard you, peace. You know what I mean? So, that's that encouraging part. It's never been like that, but it takes a lot to train the brain, especially where we come from.
Where'd you get that from? If you just created that yourself, when did you start to study like that idea that this is the way I want to start a conversation and end the conversation, because I love that. And that's the thing about you.
Yeah.
We weren't close as students in junior high school, but I knew of you. And as far back as I can remember, I knew you were into hip hop. I knew you were very clear and articulate, and I always was. I always admired you, you know, from afar, you know, because I didn't sort of know you. So, and then like most recently, I saw some Facebook posts. I followed some of your music, some of your you know, your spoken word, and I've always been just a fan on the sideline.
Thank you, brother. I
so
appreciate that.
where's that inspiration from? Do you come from a family of musicians or poets or
Nah, not at
revolutionaries? I don't know, man. I feel like I got that flavor
probably
from you.
revolutionary. I think for the most part, man, what it really comes from is experience. You know what I'm saying? So, LiteSkin. LiteSkin is LiteSkin, stands for living it through every situation known in nature. Been through a lot, experience. Life has given me a lot of experiences on my plate to kind of learn from. You know what I'm saying? And as they say, life is probably the best teacher. You know what I'm saying? So, in my younger years, very ignorant, very quick to get physical and quick to, you know, be stupid.
Were you a hothead?
Yeah. You know what it was? You know, I mean, for
and
the
you grew
most
up in the Lower East Side.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, it's just kind of like, you know, it's embedded in your blood when you certain areas, certain locations and environments just kind of creates who you become. You know what I'm saying? And it really takes a very strong mentality to break those cycles and those chains. For me, in regards to adapting the peace mentality, is really more so after, you know, having my daughters, you know what I'm saying, having my own children and understanding that my every move now affects them 10 times over. You know what I'm saying? So if you know, should I get arrested or anything like that, it's no longer on me, it's also on my family. You know what I mean? So
how old are your kids?
My oldest is 19, my youngest is 13.
So 19 years ago, you were a different person. You reacted to...
I want to say 18, 17 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think even when I had my daughter, it wasn't a quick, like, okay,
a radical change right off the bat.
Yeah. But
you know, some seeds were probably planted leading up to that.
Yes, definitely so. And I think I've always been one to try to be as positive as possible. Sometimes some situations don't allow for that. But nonetheless, I think once I had my daughter, my first daughter, and a year probably into that, always been about the community, always been about the youth. 25 plus years of working with the youth.
And you're actually still actively part of a probation program too, right?
Right now, I exclusively my clientele is those
kids
who are
in
on
and out of
probation.
jail?
No. Now it's no longer just youth.
Okay.
It's more so those who are on probation. So really the older crowd. You know what I'm saying? So whereas it kind of switched. You know what I mean? I moved up away from Lower East Side, and my passion of working with the youth, though it was there, the opportunities kind of closed up a little bit for now. So found this job. I feel it's a perfect fit. You know what I mean? I'm still working, and a lot of the work that I put into that is more so based off of my older brother who passed away, years ago, 96, 97, when I was in Sewell Park High School. He was incarcerated probably 15, 16 years. So that, going into this work, I always see each client as my brother, whether male or female. I see it as, damn, if he would have met somebody that could have helped him, he may not have been in jail that long. You know what I'm saying? So every client I approach with that type of mentality where it's like, look, I'm going to help you as best I could. I can't physically do what you need to get done, but I will mentally and spiritually try to help you gain that guidance.
That's a noble thing.
Thank you.
How do you maintain a good attitude towards it? As I would find that could be emotionally and physically draining. You know, you got the kids, you got the family at home, then you're internalizing other people's hardships. Right. If you're good at what you do, right, that's what you're doing, right? I feel like, you know, even when I'm dealing with a client who I'm working with training-wise, you know, you take some of that home. Even when I do stand-up, you know, you take that energy home. It's, you know.
Yeah. No, it's
not like when I do a monkey work, we're like dealing with people, you know.
Right.
You know, it's not like we're in a factory. And not to knock anyone who works in a factory, because I'm sure that has its own, you know, reasons to decompress. What I mean is like dealing with people, internalizing that, it could be a lot.
I honestly want to say not because of, I don't want to sound biased, but I think it's one of the hardest jobs. I don't even consider it a job. I think it's one of the hardest things to do on a consistent basis, just based off of that, the energies. You know what I mean? So many a times I would go home and think, damn, I just wish I would have done different to set that person up better. But it's just, it's not, you can't save the world, right? But all you can do is what you can do, and hope that they take the ball and run with it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I love it, and I don't consider it work. I don't consider it a job. I personally, on the weekends, hitting up clients like, hey, how you doing? How's the work? So I am a director of an employment program, helping them get their life right in regards to employment, but as well as the program that I run, I add my own little sazon to it, where it's just kind of like I've been trained by the state, but I add my own little seasoning to it, where it's also internal reflection. Let's talk about the decisions you made. Let's talk about what got you on probation. Let's talk about,
Yeah, it's not
choices.
textbook shit.
Yeah, nah,
That's
it
the
can't
worst,
be.
right?
Yeah.
When people are in a position like that,
Yeah.
and it's like textbook, like,
Yep.
well, you probably come from a family of drug addicts right here, so we'll check that off, you know.
Right.
And they have no, there's no connection.
None at all. And I think that the relatability makes it easy for me. I work with a population that very much is a lot like myself. You know what I mean? And the only difference between them and I tell them this all the time, the only difference between you and I is I didn't get caught in some of the things I did. You know what I'm saying? So I think for the most part, it's just that growth mentality where it's just kind of like, look, went through life's challenges, but here it is. I'm able to speak to you from the experience of both sides of the coin with saying, the first thing I do, man, my first, it's a 10-9 lesson program. First lesson I go into, hey, you are not the mistake. You know what I mean? You made a mistake. You are not the mistake made. And there's a big difference. You know what I mean? So teaching them not to, go up to people, hey, how you doing? My name is George. I'm a felon. You know what I mean? Getting that corrupted skin off their back so that they are respected as much as whoever they're speaking to. I don't care if it's being interviewed. I don't care if it's, the security for God's heaven. You know what I mean? Just be respected as much as you earn that respect, you give it back too. So it's, I love it, man. I love, I'm passionate about what I do. And
But you always had that
Yeah.
that mentality. I don't think that was something
Thank you,
learned.
thank you.
So I think even if you were, consider yourself in the street ripping and running a little bit or
Right,
whatever, you always had that. Where did you think you get that from? That's just part of like your character, or you think it was your mom or pops, or was there influence
Yes.
within you? Because or you just didn't get caught up in the bullshit. I
Right.
imagine your brother was a little bit like that too, or was he very different?
He was very
You have like a
street
leadership
oriented.
quality about
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, my brother was very street oriented. Again, coming from the Lower East Side, man, coming from the Hill, or even the Ave or whatever, man. Smith is it's a certain mentality that keeps you surviving. My parents are, God rest both of their souls, man. My parents were both very detrimental to who I became, but as well as other community people. You know what I mean? I had a brother of mine, man. FN. You know what I'm saying? He was a graffiti writer. You know what I mean? Shout out to FN, GTF. But I had a lot of people in my corner that, despite the fact of what was around us, this dude, he would come knock on the doors every Saturday, like, yo, we going to play football. Yo, we playing ball tonight. Yo, we playing. So having that around me and amongst other people, you know what I mean? But the one that stands out the most is probably him, probably one of the most positive people. Still streetwise, nice with his hands. You know what I mean? Rock anybody quick, but still into hip hop. You know what I mean? When he was 17, he was able to go out to Africa as a b-boy and dance out there. And
That's what's up.
you know what I'm
Wow.
saying? So yeah, it taught us more so. I always had a love and passion for hip hop, but taught us how to own that. You know what I mean? And hone in into our skill levels. And so I got people like that. My godfather. You know what I'm saying? Carlos, the whole Heredia family. You know what I'm saying? Like these are people that, despite the fact of whatever options I had outside, it doesn't mean that I made every top-notch decision, but nonetheless, they were always there to kind of guide me the right way. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, it's interesting. FN, that name pops out. I haven't heard it in years.
Yeah.
But You know Ariel.
Yes,
He's
yes.
also from. He lived in the Hill for a
Yeah,
while. He
yeah,
was a
yeah.
guest on 2 episodes ago with Nichols, the guy who assaulted him 15 years ago. I say that.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about. But for
Yeah.
anyone listening, it's an episode that was like I believe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's called Redemption.
And
Anyway,
I don't want to cut your wisdom. Please, whoever's watching this, I commend you for watching this. You know what I mean? But by all means, please also go check out that episode. Very powerful episode. And I think for the most part, shout out to Serge for even being able to put that together, you know what I mean? And coming together to bring that to the forefront.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
man. When we spoke on the phone, it was a hard one to facilitate because I had an emotional involvement and I didn't know every participant, but they were very good with letting it develop and share. And I thought it pretty much ran itself. Of course, now in retrospect, I always have a question that surfaces like, oh, I should have asked this, and. But there aren't any regrets at all. I'm very proud of it, and I hope it's just a slice of history and some street shit that people can learn from. I always want to, with a conscience of it, have some light at the end. Because we got enough bullshit that's dark in our everyday information consumption that can put us down or whatever. And although we find a lot of that stuff entertaining and stuff, I always want to make sure that it's looked at the way I look at the world with some light, you know?
It's needed, man. It's needed. The balance is needed.
Yeah.
I think dark, hey, listen, let's talk about it, man. The dark is what sells. The dark is what we are saturated with. You know what I mean? And again, historically speaking, people understand how to control other people, and it's more so through darkness. It's more so through the fact of saturating and feeding negativity. You know what I'm saying? So a man can sit on the throne and allow 2 clowns to kill each other and not even have to do nothing but be entertained and then laugh it off at the end. You know what I'm saying? And that's with us, black and brown. A lot of times we play those roles, you know what I'm saying, without even understanding how instrumental we are to the rest of who we are as a community. We, a lot of times, end up killing each other and getting into fights and doing everything. You know, I mean, we from the Lower East Side, man. Ave and the Hill and the whole, I lived in Ruckus Street, Ruckus Projects, had problems with people in Cherry Street, right across the street. You know what I mean? But we share a stop one there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, that's how we kind of, we've been hypnotized and tricked to believe that we can't coincide together because we always that crab in the barrel syndrome. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I remember that. I remember like the Ave had beef with the Hill, and I was from. It wasn't really considered Ave. I was when I was going to junior high school, 56. The sentiment was there was a lot of cliques, and just at the surface, or coming up, or jail gangs, nietas, Latin kings. And stuff like that. Bloods would start to creep in.
Can't forget about DSEPs.
DSEP, but that was a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And they were prominent.
Right.
During, when I'm talking about like mid-90s, early 90s. So I was in between like the Hill, the Ave, and then I lived like on Grand Street. So I knew a lot of people from everywhere. So I never kind of rolled into any hill with like a flag, I'm from here. Because I actually lived like
right in the middle of it all.
Yeah, in the middle of it all. And I was kind of back and forth. I was in Baruch, 3rd Street. So that kind of gave me this kind of chameleon, shield, if I may. But there was a lot of energy that was required during those during the time of development to fucking protect myself. And I remember joining, like, I got down with, like, Zulu Nation. Were you in Zulu?
No. I knew a lot of people from Zulu.
So that was a lot of your piece. And I was, and then once again, I was down for, like, 6 hours. We're talking about that 2 hours. It was more like a year.
So what you're telling us is you have a problem with commitment. Okay.
One thing is that's very clear. Sergio cannot keep a fucking, can't hold it down for more than
can't be committed for more than a week.
And I remember, so I say that, I bring that full circle because one positive figure that came up to mind, he lived in the area, was a guy named Batu. Remember him? He's a black guy, Zulu Nation.
Yes. Yeah,
Batu. Yeah. And I remember him being, this very articulate, he was a leader. He was a little older than us. And you know, it was someone to look up to where I didn't know what kind of dirt he was involved in,
Right.
but he spoke a certain way.
Right.
He was well read.
Yes.
He was disciplined with his workouts.
Yeah.
And I was attracted to that sort of like
Right.
leadership.
Right.
And, you know, it's
Right.
funny how like you meet these people,
Right.
and I met a few more of those people in my life, you know, like
Right.
you had the FNs or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you constantly, you do your bullshit, but then, you know, there's other people like,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah,
you know,
check you. They able to check you.
yeah. And it's in the midst of all this chaos and everything seems uniform with people's attitudes towards how they react to things. There's always someone who kind of pops out. It's like, oh wow, this is interesting.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Nah, it's and that's what I mean, man. For the most part, man, it's always needed to you know, the scale has always been weighed on a negative side. You know what I'm saying? So to have those prominent figures in our lives, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's for a year, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's for a half an hour, to be able to say something that's plant a seed so that going forward, you kind of know like, oh snap, I had that conversation. Now I kind of feel like, damn, maybe I should do different. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of those moments, man, where, you know, you ready to war out or you ready to go do something stupid. You know, you look back and you like, damn, what was I about to do? And if it wasn't for this person, you know what I'm saying? There was a situation, man, always give props to this person, man. You know, something was about to pop off because of something else that happened, and this person was like, yo, I'm not leaving your side. You know what I'm saying? Even though I was outnumbered or whatever, and I pulled out a little something where I was about to, you know, catch wreck. And it was just like, nah, I'm not leaving until you're good. And it ended up being one of those situations where I look back on a consistent basis, and I'm like thankful that one handheld, hey, not now, you're not doing that because I'm here, kind of saved my life. You know what I mean? And there's been multiple times, but
What would you say a lot of with most of the how were these wars or beefs like inspired? What inspired them or
could be a
promoted
lot
them?
of things, man. It could be you know,
A lot of just straight bullshit.
yeah, whether it be a young lady or whether it be you know, you from this block and I'm from that block, whether it be, yo, your man stomped my man out last week, so we got to get, you know, catch wreck on somebody. It was a lot of things, and I think a lot of it, honestly speaking, was to be honest with you, misguidance. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the respect factors, right? You always have them situations where you like, yo, this is my name. I'm not going to let it get in any way dragged through mud or my pride. A lot of it is pride and a lot of it is misguidance. You know what I'm saying? So, but nonetheless, those are situations. That's one of the reasons why my name, LiteSkin, that's why it's so very instrumental to me. You know what I'm saying? Living it through every situation known in nature. It means that everything I go through, I'm going to live through it. You know what I'm saying? Until I don't, you know? So, you know, and those are things, man, for the most part, man, that they ring in your head all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, even, you know, bringing up Ariel. Always had love for Ariel. Me and Ariel had our own little spat a little bit, you know what I mean? But because of that situation, I got to be honest with you, it was that situation. I think I told Ariel this, and I don't want to, you know, but for the most part.
But what situation?
When he got shot. When he
around that time?
Yeah. Well, it was, you know, it was a little bit earlier.
Okay.
But then when that happened, it definitely brought a tear to my eye. You know what I'm saying? Because here it is, somebody who I grew up with that I was like, yo, this dude is no longer here. You know what I'm saying? So, granted, came out of the coma and all that, man, we were able to speak. You know what I mean? But it's those type of situations where a lot of times, and this is a lesson to all who are still in the hood, mentally or physically, even that situation when watching that episode, a lot of it comes out to, damn, it didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? It didn't have to go that way. We never had the beef. We never, you know what I'm saying? So there's so many of those situations when looking back, when you go back in time and you're like, yo, we ain't really had no problems. You know what I mean?
I know. I mean, that's one thing I'm constantly faced with, and I'm sensitive towards that shit because I realize, you know, when you react a certain way and you don't have the patience or the mental fortitude to really like give yourself a 5-second count and like, yo, how many people could be affected by my decision?
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about family and friends.
Yeah, man.
You know, your freedom, your life, and just how we look.
Right.
You know, just how we represent the fucking, you know, we feed into the stereotype of how we treat each other, how we behave, you know, and for what?
Yeah,
for what?
Yeah.
It's a wild thing. I'm not saying it's case by case.
Yeah, it definitely
but
is. It definitely is.
There is there is a consistency with how people react, and it's like it's heavy duty with dealing with the pride and ego and shit
man,
like
it's
that.
a lot of, it's a lot of spiritual and mental health that goes into it. You know what I'm saying? I think I'll be honest with you, man. We all, one way or another, and if you haven't, please go check it out. The movie Warriors. You know what I'm saying? Like Cyrus trying to bring everybody together. You know what I mean? Bringing all gangs together. On a more, I guess, real tip, not a movie tip, Tupac was doing that. Nipsey. You know what I'm saying? Like there are various people in life that try to bring unity together. You know what I'm saying? And I think for the most part, man, even in the Lower East Side, man, we are we're known as a sixth borough for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like we even, dudes be sitting here like, yo, I'm from the X, I'm from Queens, yo, I'm from Manhattan, I'm from Lower East Side. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, we still part of Lower East Side, but it's like, nah, we the sixth borough. If we were to do the math behind certain things or the science and come together in unity, we'd be unstoppable. You know what I mean? And I'm not only talking about the Lower East Side. I'm talking about, in general, black and brown. You know what I'm saying? And I think for the most part, we tend to be scared of that unification because of various reasons, whether it be because of pride, whether it be because of fear of attention. A lot of people won't work. I say it all the time, man, and I say it on my own podcast, which I'm pretty sure we'll get into, but I think for the most part, man, if you my man and you a baker and I got the funds to add a bake shop, yeah, let's work together. You know what I mean? I'll make this over here, you make this over here, we make a company together. A lot of times with us, man, black and brown, and that's the one thing we haven't conquered. If we looked at, other cultures, we don't do that enough. You know what I'm saying? Like we'll sit there and be like, oh, you bake? All right, I know somebody else who bakes, but he might give me a little bit more attention. Let me work with him. And we don't build together. You know what I'm saying? And I guess an easier example, you're a guitar player, I'm a piano player, we know a drum player. Let's start a band. Instead, we sitting there like, yo, I know you know piano, but I ain't gonna mess with you because I know of you. I'm gonna mess with somebody else and build over here on this side.
Yeah, that's strange.
It's ugly, man. It's ugly.
Strange.
I can't tell you, Serge, at the end of the day, man, so many people, man, like mentally I tap in, and I'll tell people like, yo, let's build together, man. Why are we not building together? If you do this and I'm doing this, if you're an artist and I'm you're a visual artist and I'm a lyric, yo, let's put this together so that we could do this. Now you have things such as NFTs and other things. So,
What's NFT?
So NFT is a non-fungible, so for the most part, it's just going into that whole crypto world. You know what I'm saying? The Coinbase and all that. And in the NFT, if you play music, let's just say, and I'm a visual artist and I draw, we could put our things together and make money off of it together.
Okay.
And this will be our money. You know what I mean? So now I'm hoping that type of mentality starts to spawn or give birth to more people working together. You know what I mean? Because it just doesn't make sense. I've read a meme a couple of times, man, that touches me and it makes me laugh. When people say, yo, they don't applaud you for what you're doing because it's you. They'll applaud everybody else. They'll sit there and applaud strangers that they don't even know and sit there on yo, my day one. Fam, you just met them a week ago. How's that your day one? You know what I mean? But because of attention, but because of we don't want to work together because we're afraid that you might outshine me, it's a disgusting mentality, man. It's really the slave mentality. You know what I'm saying? So, if you think about it, historically speaking, when they had slave, when they have the fields out there, they would take the darker slaves and the lighter slaves and turn them into enemies. They would take the lighter slaves, put them in a household and be like, yo, nah, you a house slave. You can't talk to the plantation slaves. So now this could be my cousin. I can't even talk to them because of separation. This is what this country has done for years. You know what I mean? This is what, governmentally, this is what they do. Now we got the whole people beefing off of who's vaccinated and who's not. You know what I mean? Also, oh, you not vaccinated? Nah, I can't talk to you. It's separation. You know what I'm saying? And I think with us, man, black and brown, a lot of times, instead of becoming united, we live with that separation because we know that. You know what I'm saying? So, might be a little too deep, man. But
No.
So,
I appreciate you actually sharing all this, and I fully agree.
Right.
And the funny thing is about the vaccination thing, I find there's a good portion of people that are in certain areas, like in the hood, that are totally against it. Why do you think that is? Why? Because they've been fucked over.
We don't trust the government.
We don't trust the government.
We don't trust the government. You know what I mean? Like you can go as far as the Tuskegee experiment. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's a bunch
of stuff, man. It's a lot of stuff. And at the same time, let's be real. The the government has never helped black and brown without agenda. You know what I'm saying? So if you sitting here and you watching the news, governors, elected officials sitting out there like, hey, it's for free. Go get, your vaccine. You get a TV, some Jordans. You get, they even giving people time off of their sentences to get vaccinated. And you're like, yo, where was all this help when we really needed it? Now all of a sudden, listen, man, we gonna get deep. We gonna get deep. If you look at the timing of things, there was a changing of guard that was about to happen.
Changing of what?
A changing of guard. So we were going in between presidents.
Yeah.
You might get a lot of flack for this episode, brother.
Now go speak your piece, man.
There was a changing of guards.
Wait, you're gonna get some conspiracy theories?
Nah. Well, I guess. But
yeah, if you did throw some QAnon shit on me, bro.
Nah. So changing of guard, a president was being changed. All of a sudden, we had a bat in Wuhan, China, that got bit and created this whole, corona COVID virus. Make no mistake, there's no coincidence that once the guards got changed, all of a sudden now the vaccine is out. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you think about it, and I'm pretty sure we've had these discussions within our families, diabetes, cholesterol, high cholesterol, AIDS, cancer, these are things that haven't been cured yet. You know what I mean? No vaccines for that. But within a week, damn near, within a weekend, y'all just roll out a vaccine and then tell people, so check this here. We're going to give you something. You get hurt, you can't sue us. You know what I mean? There's nothing you could do to us. But you got to trust us. So to answer your question, I think, those who are a little bit enlightened or awoken on certain aspects, we can't just jump in the ring and say, hey, vaccinate me with your poisons and what you created. You know what I'm saying? They created the disease to then come out with the cure hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I don't want to say too much, man. I want to show the road, brother.
No. That's good because I'm always interested in how people perceive that information.
Right.
I was indifferent, and I might have said this in another episode. Right, if we need to cut this part out because it's been said already and talk more about you, that's fine.
Okay.
But I went ahead and did it, but I was indifferent towards it, but also skeptical. I was mad skeptical. I did it, and I got the dirtbag vaccine. I got Johnson & Johnson, 1-in-1.
Man.
Yeah, and I did it because I have an affinity to Johnson & Johnson because I used to use their baby powder well into my 30s to freshen up my balls and asshole. So it was like, I fucks with Johnson & Johnson for the long haul. They pulled it off the shelf with the baby powder. They pulled it off the shelf with the vaccine. I'm Johnson & Johnson all the way. Call me Johnson & Johnson.
You got your flag wave. I hear you. But that's the thing, though. Not to cut your wisdom, but then there's that too. You know what I'm saying? You have a Johnson & Johnson, you got a Pfizer, you got a Moderna, you got, the Nike shot coming out soon, the Wendy's shot. When people start marketing cures, it's like, yo, hold on. What is this? You know what I mean? So you gotta, listen, man, everybody makes their decisions based off of their own individual experiences.
I also feel I don't get bent out of shape. That division, I don't care.
Right.
I find peace because that's never ending. That's never ending, right? It's if it's not that, it's gonna be something else. But that's never ending. I recently, so my morning rituals begin with, on a good day, some stretching, because I'm old now. You see the grays, right?
Hey,
I'm getting older now. So I'll start off my day with like a 12 to 15 minute stretch. Yoga, my own version of it. I don't know if it's really yoga. My cat looks at me like I'm crazy. Like, you're gonna do this shit again? Let me help you out here.
Right.
And so I'll wake up in the morning, and the first thing I'll do, I'll disconnect from any social media, right? And I stretch, brew my coffee, right? And I'll listen to some Sadhguru. You know Sadhguru?
Nah,
he's a yogi guy.
Okay.
But he's so.
I heard the name.
He got a heavy beard.
Okay.
And he laughs with his body. Every time he laughs, he goes. I trust motherfuckers that laugh jolly like that. People who laugh like this with their body, I'm like, I fucks with you.
Right.
You can be saying some evil shit.
Right.
You be like that, when the world's gonna end. And if your body moves with it, I'm like, I like this guy. Because that shows passion.
You passion, you committed.
Yeah, he's jolly.
Right.
Wait. So I listen to some Sadhguru, and it's easy listening, but recently he said something that kind of, that really hit me. He's like, there's always going to be some sort of turmoil.
Yeah.
You know, look what we're dealing with present day. We got the Taliban taking over, which, by the way, you might have to edit this out. I fucks with the Taliban. I like what they're doing out there. Yo! We wild here in the DBS podcast. I'm just saying, I'm not that mad at them, I think, you know. That mad at them. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been some foul shit going on over there. I'm like, yo. And they did that shit quick. They took, they were there quicker than I come after not busting nut in like 2 weeks. They were there within minutes.
Right,
anyway,
right.
we're going up the rails here. All right, having a good time. All right, back on track. So, so Sadhguru had mentioned there's always going to be something.
Yeah.
And I can never change other people's minds. I could, say my piece or whatever. Mm-hmm. What I can do is change my mind. Right, I can find peace within myself. And I've been studying that, and I've been doing that for the past, 9 years or so. Okay. That shit is the most important thing to me. Right. You know, it's how I feel about myself. There's always going to be tragedy. There's going to be turmoil. And not to say that then I put a war, I'm like, I'm not, giving the attention to social, ills and, it's, because I do. And I talk about it on here in my own creative way.
Right.
But I can't let it consume me.
You can't.
Yo,
you can't.
Like, I can't end up, I love my mom and she listens to the podcast. She listens to the podcast heavy. I love you, Mom. But the way you hated Trump was unhealthy. That shit was not unhealthy. She would have a twitch in her eye. She would say some foul shit. I'm not going to incriminate my mom because I don't drop dimes. But my mom said some crazy shit while eating pasteles. Like,
hey, listen, man, that's the most honest time when you eat pasteles, man.
Yo,
you know what I mean?
I'm like, Mom, you made this beautiful dish with your hands. Your bare hands.
So that brings forth a lot of, listen, man, we
What I'm saying is like, when it starts. I don't think anything should affect you that much. And I'm not saying I think it could potentially be unhealthy. Like
but that's the division, right?
Yeah.
That's again, man. One of the supposed purest things, one of the most holy things, right? Pun intended, is religion. Religion was created to separate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So people who sit there and I will not do this based off of my religion, but then again, you have Pentecostals that hate Jehovah's Witnesses and Jehovah's Witnesses that hate Catholics, and you're like, damn, if you're so pure, why is there that hate? Why is there that, Maria Estevez, who religiously, and this is, no, I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but
because Maria Estevez could be from a 13E at Rutgers. Right. there's 15 Maria Estevez in every fucking project building.
Maria Estevez, but we got to know one.
Yeah, we're going to get a course of like, why the fuck is George talking shit?
Like somebody try to sue me for slander.
Better than me?
You're right. You know what I mean? Try to sue me for slander. So, but Maria Estevez, who goes religiously to church every day and every week and every weekend, is sitting there gossiping about, everybody else in there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like if we would just take a second of reflection, and this is something I do with my clients, just take a second of internal reflection. Shout out to High Tech and Talib Kweli while I say internal reflection, and Mos Def. But we take that internal reflection to look within and say, hey, there's things about myself. No, I will never be perfect. There is no such thing as perfection. You know what I'm saying?
Unless you're looking at the God, you know what I mean? Because sometimes I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, yo, I got it going on.
You got to salute yourself. I respect it.
Sometimes I'm like, God damn, you still look good, Serge.
Hey,
and then I look close in the mirror. I was like, I got 15 poppy seeds in my teeth. I need to get my shit together. And then I take an unlimited Metro card.
There you go. That's that internal reflection. You know what I mean? The poppy seeds is what we need to kind of cleanse ourselves out and say, damn, I got to do better. How do I better? Like you said, you can't change everybody else. You can only change yourself. How do I make the world around me better? By changing the things that you could change within yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nah, I mean, it's a great conversation for our families to have, man. I think we all need to kind of like sit down sometimes and really sit there and say, yo, how do we better our inner circles? How do we better us? How do we better ourselves? So Mama Dukes, while she was talking about Trump eating the patelas, I'm pretty sure it comes from a point of, yo, he has affected us. You know what I'm saying? And I think, when you're looking at the Puerto Rico thing and this dude is tossing You know what I mean? Like paper towels, like it's a joke. And it's like, yo, but we all, those who know he wasn't really a president. He was a distraction. You know what I'm saying? So I never seen a president sit there and tweet and tell, people, yo, hit females in the vagina. Go ahead, go do that. You know what I'm saying? And still sit there on some, yeah, I'm the president. I'm the face of the, But nonetheless, man, it's really about being awoke to what it is that we have been hypnotized for years. You know what I'm saying? So we can stop the cycles that we're continuously, going forward with our children and with our.
Now that you're older, now that we're older,
Right.
Would you feel the same way about how you are taking your music? Are you hard on like hip hop that is drug induced, sounds drug induced? It's inspired by drugs and kind of a rock and roll attitude, and the soul of like pure hip hop has been compromised because of big business. Do you feel the need to like completely eliminate that, or do you say this is a time where it needs its time, it'll flow out, and then we'll go back to to where it once was? What are your thoughts on that?
I very much am someone who works on preserving the arts of hip hop, the culture itself, and it's not to knock nobody's own art. We are modern day orators. We are modern day, people who used to tell stories to, back in the day, right? Our ancestors. We are that, you know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times a lot of people fall short or don't think about the responsibilities that come with being able to get on the mic. You know what I'm saying? So if your message is, hey, do lean, go shoot your brother in the face, sell some crack to our own people, or even just something as simple as, I just want to move and dance and move my ass. That's cute, but we are at a standpoint where we need to do more to empower. I feel like hip hop itself was created through the powers of sitting in the lunchroom and banging on tables and doing the old park jams and the street lights and connecting and talking about poverty. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I have nothing to eat. I'm in my streets and I don't got nothing to feed. And so all that came from hip hop, right? And then somewhere along the lines, and I actually on my podcast, which I do with my two brothers, we had we had A+ from Souls of Mischief.
I fucking love that. This is how we do from 93. I still rock that shit.
Yo, 56, man. Was it 56 too around that time? Probably man. 56. I was in there just waking up to that every single morning.
Which by the way, the 3 years in the hip hop golden era for me, 93, 94, no.
93 was a big one.
Damn, 93. I want to say 96 too.
Yeah,
93, 94, 95. Yeah, I'm going to say 93, 95.
Yeah.
But like
big.
96, Tupac dropped All Eyes on Me. So it's like,
game,
so I'm going to say 94, 96, 93. Those 3 years.
Yeah, no, those are big. Those are big. You know what I mean? And I think, and that's the thing, man, the essence of that, right? So, listening to the younger generation or even some of my peers, right? Some of my peers by age, when I hear them on microphones and on the track, I'm like, yo, fam, how many times you okay with talking about drugs you ain't never sold? You okay with talking about guns you ain't never popped? But you trying to be accepted. So it's just kind of like, all right, at the end of the day, what do you take from this? Even if you get, let's just say you get millions of streams and sales and cool, but you just poisoned the mind of a young soul. You know what I'm saying? So so when we had A+ on the Sound Minds podcast, one of the things I brought up was one of the brothers, I think it was I forgot which Bone member it was. It might have been Crazy or Lazy Bone. One of them brought up, and it went viral, where he was talking about back in around 90-something, there was a meeting of corporate. There was a corporate meeting, and in that meeting they had artists, and they were like, yo, this is the type of hip-hop we want out there. We want talking about, we want the NWA version of hip-hop. We want the drug put out there of poisoning the young babies hip-hop. And if you're not doing, or shaking your ass, if we can't make money off of you for negativity, we don't want to deal with you. So a lot of people got shut out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people who were trying to be, prominent in hip hop, the culture. That's why you don't hear positive tracks. You hear a self-destruction once every probably 20 years, and it'll probably get the light once somebody a George Floyd passes away or something like that happens, or some young soul gets taken. Then we get the everybody, let's join together for a week. Let's make a track, put it out there, and it'll build, and we'll sell for about a month. And then we go back to, hey, drink some lean and, smoke some crack.
We need some medicine. We definitely need some medicine. It's just too much of it all.
It is, man.
Like, I think it's fine,
right?
And shorter increments, but it's just too much.
It is, man.
It's just way too much.
It is.
And you become conditioned to accepting it.
It's exactly
accepting
what it is.
it. Because now we see on the news, we hear it, and so we need to change. We can't ask, can you accept us with a different sound that will come in? No, we need to do that ourselves. We need to do that ourselves.
It's like dieting, right? You can't sit there and want your body to look a certain way or you want to be healthier, but then you get mad because people are eating, hoagies and yo-yos around you and all types of, whatever candies and
yo-yos. I haven't had those in a long time.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to sit here and get mad at you for eating in front of me.
There's some funny-ass hood fucking desserts.
Man, yeah,
wait, there's ho-ho? Wait, ho-ho.
Ho-ho's.
Hold on. Yo, I was training this dude. Shout out to my man Damien Lim. He's a funny motherfucker. I was training him. I'm gonna blow you up right now. And he showed up one time we were trained, right? I train a lot of comics. Well, sporadically. Not as many as anymore. They can't afford me. Yo. So he says, I was like, yo, why's your energy so low? He had his hat to the side, waves underneath.
Right.
He like, nah, I might have had me some, that dirtbag breakfast and shit. And I'm like, what'd you have? And he was like, yeah, I might have fucked around with little Debbie. I'm like, it's 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I was like, did you eat that snowball you were talking? He had the snowballs too.
Yo, those things
with
are
the coconut. He's like, nah, I don't fuck with those snowballs. I'm about to have me a little Debbie.
You know what I'm saying? That's the one female we done all cheated on our girls with, man. Little Debbie always got it.
Little Debbie.
You know what I'm saying? And she came in all different flavors. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Little Debbie, man.
I might fuck around and get Little Debbie after this.
You know what I mean? All right, there you go. The inspiration is there, brother.
Sunflower seeds.
Oh, man.
Sunflower seeds have my mouth looking like an asshole. But just dehydrated, right?
Yeah, man.
What else, man?
Come on, man. Boston baked beans.
Oh, those are good. Lemon heads.
Lemon heads. You know what I mean? I remember using those to toss it at people's heads in junior high. You know what I mean? But not, so yeah, to be honest with you, man, I do think that hip hop has been diluted to serve a purpose of the masses in regards to the corporate world. I feel that there are many of us who are not black, or there are many of the others who are not black and brown who are making money off of black and brown. You know what I'm saying? And, it's just way too much, man. Way too much has been allowed for so many years. And
do you think certain language should be censored? Do you think, like, if the dude saying nigga on the track all the time should be eliminated? I personally don't use the word. I use it right now because I'm a fucking adult and I'm not gonna say the N-word, especially talking to my man right here. When I'm talking to you white motherfuckers, I'll be like, hey, don't say the N-word. But when I'm talking to my man, I'm like, do you use that word?
Me personally, I don't.
I don't either. And I retired that shit when I was fucking like 17, 18. Because I'm a fucking adult. And that's one thing I feel strongly about. I feel that shit needs to be retired. It's almost like even referring to a woman as a bitch. I never called it. I retired that a long time ago because I was taught, I was raised by my mother and my sister. Like, I'm never calling them bitches. I don't call anyone I care about. I just think certain language, like, hinders our growth.
It does. I definitely, I stopped using that word. I was, I want to say I was 19. I was working for a...
I cringe at that word.
Yeah, I hate that word. Just a couple the B word.
I admit, and I know good people who use that word. I think I look at that word like someone who spits in the street. Like it's a fucking bad habit.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, if you're past the age of 13, grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Yeah.
And that shit might bother people because it's a bad habit. But it's just. It does nothing for us.
It doesn't.
The way we're perceived. The way we're perceived. Oh, you shouldn't worry about what people think. Well, you know what? I think it does nothing positive. So forget it. Okay, if you're one of these people who has the idea, the mind, the frame of mind where it's like, oh, I'm not concerned with other people. Think about how it affects other people. It's not. It's just. There's nothing positive about it.
And I think power in words, man.
And I think we did the job. The job was to own the world. We empowered ourselves with it. I get it. It's in our archives of music and movies and everything. But I honestly think that shit should be
Yeah,
and I would love for that. See that revolution.
You know what's
to
crazy,
move
man?
forward.
It's so one, there's a power in words, right? Two, yes, it takes yourself as an individual. Me personally, I stopped using it at the age of 19. The reason why I stopped using it,
I stopped using it first.
You did. You got me on that.
You believe me, right? I stopped using it first.
You believe me, right? I was working
You believe
with
me, right? It's hilarious, right?
hell
That
yeah.
is
You believe me?
You believe me, right? Yo, minutes
is
later,
secure.
yo, you believe me, right? Yo, motherfucker that says you believe me, right? Is lying.
Yeah, lying out their mouth. I was running a young fathers program, man, with a somewhat of a mentor at the time who was working with me in this community program, right? One of which is still around. One of which I feel like has done a lot of greatness for the Lower East Side. At the same time,
What's the name of it?
Grand Street Settlement.
Grand Street Settlement.
Yeah. I was, so I would say Grand Street Settlement has done a lot of greatness. Henry Street Settlement has done a lot of greatness. There's a lot of settlements that done great. At the same time, there was a lot of fools who have worked there have definitely hurt our communities, right? So
Yeah, man, you can't be teaching the kids coming in smell like Hennessy.
Right, you can't. You can't be sexing the young. Listen, there's a lot that goes on to that, but while working in this
have
program,
some fucking control, you dirtbag.
please, you know what I mean? Especially you from the hood, stop it. You know what I mean? But so make a long story short, I was working with this one individual. He was older. Shout out to Mike Vaz. Shout out to you, brother. You're doing a lot of greatness. And my man Milton Monroe. Milton Monroe was, so we was running like a young fathers program at the time or a youth program, and there was the N-word application. You know what I'm saying? And I looked at that, and it was disrespectful. Like it would spell, do you have a mother? Do you have a father? You know what I mean? Do you know how to use a switchblade or a typewriter?
There's an application.
It was a straight like an application, like a job application.
Joke?
It was a joke, but it was in a if I'm not mistaken, it was on the KKK website. You know what I'm saying? So that caused me, while working with the young, I said, yo, I can't use this no more. And at that time, I was performing. You know what I mean? So Sound Minds, shout out to my family, Sound Minds family. Still doing what we do. We got a podcast. We on our just finished our 5th season. Gonna get into our 6th season real soon, but go check that out, soundmindshiphop.com. Sound Minds, we used to, me and my brother, Academic, or All Knowing now. He changed his name Academics because the clown that's out there.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Academic.
Yeah, he changed his name
as soon as you said Academic, I saw Skittles fall from the sky. I was like, this fucking guy.
He's a clown. So my brother changed his name to All Knowing, but me and Ac, we acolytes, you know what I mean, both Sound Mind members, and we used to do shows, man, off the head, you know what I'm saying, on stage, 45 minutes. So a lot of times, I stopped cursing off of this too, you know what I mean? And
so you don't curse?
Nah, anymore. I don't curse I don't curse in regular speech, and I definitely don't curse in my music. I used to, whatever, especially when going off the head, man, flowing.
Yeah, I
easy
never,
words.
yeah, I mean, that's admirable. I still curse when I'm on stage,
right,
and let me tell you something. I curse more when I don't feel like it's going my way. So it's a security thing.
Yeah.
If I listen to back to a set,
right,
I'm punctuating it with a curse because I don't trust the material. I'm bullshitting.
But you know what, though? At the same time, I think it adds, because I know a lot of people sit there and be like, yo, cursing ain't nothing. And 1,000%, me personally, one of my favorite MC ever is Rakim. You know what I'm saying? And Rakim, he said...
Yeah,
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, if you into that sort of thing.
If you into that knowledge. He said probably 3 curses. You know what I'm saying? 3 to 4 curses.
If that, I don't think I've ever...
Yeah. So now the thing is that when you listen to my verses or you hear me on stage now, or even back then, it was kind of like, yo, this dude, did he curse? And you realize not, but what happened to the N-word and the curse word, or cursing, I'd be on stage, and I would be spitting, and if I curse or say the N-word, I'll smack myself in the mouth. So now the audience is looking at me like, yo,
this guy got Tourette's.
You know what I mean? So I'm sitting there, and then I'll explain like, yo, what you seen was me trying to train myself not to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's all about training the mentality, man. As we know, it takes what they say 60 days to turn something into a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, at that time.
Are you always looking for ways to improve yourself? And if you do, how do you go about it? Do you write it out? Do you just put it in your head?
That's a great question.
Do you say it on a podcast to hold yourself accountable? Everyone heard it.
Yeah, that's
or
a great
you just
question.
kind of.
I believe very sternly on sharpening your sword at all times. You know what I mean? Anybody who ever's called to war at any type of time in their lifetime, right? Any war that you fight, if your sword is dull, it's going to be hard to fight a formidable war. So with that being said, I do try to better myself as best I can. As of recent, my mindset is now also being more, never selfish, but being more cognizant of being less selfless. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times when you give, you got a good heart. And I'm not saying that I got a good heart. That's not for me to judge. But when you give so much, people get used to that. People get used to the, oh, yeah, I could always turn to you, whatever it is. I got, you know.
Yeah,
I
that
got you.
attitude every time they're in your presence, their feet up.
Crazy. Yeah.
In their boxes.
Yeah. Wow.
Entitled.
You know what I mean?
I'm like, yo,
Crazy.
you need to clean this place up.
And then you like, yo, fam, you remember when you said you was going to give me a quarter or for the $5 million you got? I just need a quarter. You know what I mean? I want to buy me a quart of water. I got you.
So that's a practice that you just kind of see and do. So
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
writing it down or anything.
No, that's something that I think, honestly, Serge, I think that's a good idea to start writing it down.
I write it down
Yeah.
on a whiteboard and
Your own vision.
and I just check that shit. Feels good.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's small things, you know. For my physical goal for this week was running 20 miles for the week.
Dope.
Every week.
Right.
And by doing that,
Right.
I'm manifesting a certain discipline. I'm being held accountable. Let me tell you something. The first week, I did
Crazy.
it.
Okay.
Yo, but I did it
Right.
an hour before the week was done. So
Right,
at 11 o'clock
right.
at night, I'm running like an asshole like that. With a mad small bike hat. And big-ass New Balance shoes, looking like a fucking gym teacher for
You know,
56.
you got that-
You know, it's in the
Out there looking
styrofoam
like Paper
joints.
Boy without his bike, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The following week, I had to make my 20 miles.
Quota, right.
So now I got to double up. So now it's in my mind.
Right,
You know,
right.
and so the goal was running for this month. And then what happens?
Right.
I'm training myself. I got a hookup. Yeah, I got dirtbag hookups. I used to have drug hookups, right? Now I got, yo,
You're
you
an
need a
elevator
bib?
now.
I
Yeah.
got a marathon hookup.
Okay,
Motherfuckers
okay.
like, yo, you need a bib?
Oh.
I'm like, yo, like under the table type shit.
right,
So
right.
I got a bib. I'm
Right.
gonna be running the marathon.
I see.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
So
brother.
it's
Yeah,
like
that's a
I'm
big
having
move.
second one, right?
Right.
But I say that, so I'm behind on the miles, but what I'm saying, the reason why I bring that up is because if anyone needs a hookup with the bib, I got it for sale, and I could also get you a vaccine card.
Hey, there you go.
And an unlimited Metro card
Yeah,
for
oh,
only
wow.
$75.99.
Yo, that's like a Lifetime Achievement Award gift bag, man.
Yeah. It comes in a dirt bag. Just a dirty ass bag. There's nothing tying it. You know, it's just loose.
Right,
It's
right.
like cocaine with no fucking string on this fucking. You
man.
figure it out.
You can change the usage of the baggies, man.
Exactly. So that sort of training is like, okay, whatever the goal is, it has to be done.
Yeah.
It has to be done.
yeah.
I missed that week.
Yeah.
It has to be done.
Right.
I'm training myself to, because we don't always want to show up. Right. You know, like if my next goal is like not to curse anymore,
Yeah.
I'm gonna slip up.
Yeah.
You know, but the discipline is choosing other words to
Right.
satisfy that urge.
Right.
And so forth.
Yeah.
You know, there's always room, you know.
Sometimes the attempt is good enough. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes just putting it out there on the table and saying, yo, I want to change this about myself, whether you do or don't, right? At least one of my things that I say to all my clients, man, to everybody I meet, the first sign of greatness is acknowledgement. You know what I'm saying? Once you acknowledge what you got to change, then you can hit greatness better. You know what I'm saying? Like being...
Hold that for one
Yeah,
second. Acknowledgement.
Yeah.
That's so, it's so important. My stomach just growled. I'm trying to say something deep, and my stomach was like, can you
It's
acknowledge
agreeing
the
with you,
fact
man.
that you haven't eaten in
It's
12
agreeing
hours
with
and
you.
your breath probably smells like a dead possum? Eat, motherfucker. My body's like, yo, you still talking, motherfucker? No, acknowledgement, right? Yeah, if you just acknowledge things, it's so important. And, the people around you will appreciate that, like acknowledgement. Go ahead.
And I think for the most part, man, a lot of times people, they turn the blind eye to their own self, right? We'll sit there and be like, yo, you sit there and tell your child, like, yo, don't ever do drugs. Let me go sniff this line real quick. You know what I'm saying? And that's just in life in general, man. People, and so why I say that is I had to, and it took years. It took a lot of time for me and a lot of experience to sit there and be like, yo, I'm always there for people. I'm always there for those in need. You know what I'm saying? So, so when you built with that type of fabric, to pull back from that is crazy. So it's just kind of like something is, so when you ask me, bettering yourself, even sometimes, as they say, more is less. Let me start to do less of what I've been doing because people become, like you said, entitled. You know what I mean? Feet in the air and, yo, look at my balls. You know what I mean? I could do that. You know what I mean? Like, yo, fam, now you getting disrespectful with yours. So it's just kind of like, you know, while you sitting there.
Yo, I got a visual, man. Like, I got like a visual of strange balls.
Yeah,
there was no face. I just saw legs up and a ball.
It's just, and I say that so vulgarly because it is disrespectful. It is like, yo, I know you always been there for me, or, people consciously or unconsciously know they have you in their corner. But once you need them in your corner, it's like, yo, word, nah, I gotta go walk my goldfish. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, yo, fam, how do we get that disrespectful? How do we, why don't we match those energies, right? So I say that to say, yes, I think writing them down is probably best so that I can hold myself true to it. A lot of times, yes, a lot of what I feel does come off of my podcast or in my music. You know what I'm saying? I do hold myself to a certain standard to know that every time I'm on the mic, it's bigger than just being on the mic. You know what I mean? It's I got to put out a message. You know what I'm saying? One of my, I pegged myself, I titled myself and holding myself accountable as LiteSkin the wordsmith with a purpose. Meaning that everything I do has a purpose. I can't just sit there and, lollygag and, yo, we at a party, we're so hardy. And that's cute. That's cool when you got nothing to do. But when you got people who are listening and already have tons of people telling them negativity and telling them how to smoke, and get on lean, it's kind of like, damn, we got to balance that out. You know what I'm saying? So whether that's a sword that I want to hold or don't want to hold, that doesn't matter. I'm holding it. You know what I mean? So it's like, nah, this is what I want to stand on.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
When you said that, it reminded me of the last video I saw of you, which is dope because it was at the amphitheater. Right?
Yeah.
It's funny, for years, the amphitheater is in the FDR Drive. I'm talking about the real Lower East Side amphitheater.
Right.
And when we were running around in there, shit was graffitied up, and there was like a hole in the ceiling, and mad hip hop videos were shot there.
Wild Style was shot there. The movie Wild Style was right there in the amphitheater. Yeah.
And you recently, how long ago did you shoot your video where you were on the stage of it? It looked relatively 4 or 5 years ago.
I want to really say like 6 years.
Okay.
6, 7, yeah.
I thought it was a dope video. What's the name of that one?
All in One Body.
All in One Body.
Yeah.
Was it over a beat or was that acapella?
That's acapella.
That shit was dope. Okay. They were all dope.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, like I'm just mixing. I want to make sure I get the correct label for each one.
Here.
Yeah. So that's why I want to make sure I got the right one. That was the acapella one. That kind of was reminiscent. What's the name of it again?
All in One Body.
All in One Body.
Right.
Acapella, like a spoken word joint.
Right.
It was dope.
Thank you.
And it was kind of reminiscent to one of my favorite artists, CeeLo Green.
Yeah. I like CeeLo.
You like CeeLo?
I like CeeLo.
Something about the cadence and this I don't know, it was just a courageous use of words. It was clear and it was poetic.
Thank you, brother.
It was fucking dope, man.
That's my thank you. I appreciate that. That's my
When do you find yourself most inspired to compose? Early in the morning, middle of the day, at night?
Honestly, all throughout.
Oh wow. But go ahead. What you
that
gonna say?
one,
that you were gonna say?
All in One Body? It's crazy. All in One Body I wrote when I was 18, 19 years old.
Oh, so a while back.
Yeah, I wrote it, right? But that video I put I wrote that joint 18 or 19 years old coming on the 3 train or the 2 train. 4 o'clock in the morning, just seeing a female. You know what I'm saying? And I was trying to stay up in the train, had a paper bag, started writing that right there. I don't really have a set time. I will say, being very personal with everybody, I do a lot of thinking on the toilet. A lot of times, a lot of deep thoughts come through. You know what I mean?
He's composing beautiful artwork. You know what I'm doing? I'm scrolling fucking on Instagram looking at boxing videos. Once again, Mike Tyson interviews, Mike Tyson meltdown interviews.
Right.
Y'all step on his testicles. He's not cleffing my claw. I'm Rocky Marciano. I'm Alexander. Remember that one?
Yo, Tyson.
Tyson's fun.
He is an incredible, important relic, man. That dude. But yeah, I never really any given time of day. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to literally, before phones and being able to write on phones, man, like I said, All in One Body was written on a small paper bag too. So I just wrote that.
We need to get that shit in a frame.
I gotta find that, man. Yeah, I don't know where it's at, but yeah. So All in One Body is like a mental trip. You know what I'm saying? Speaking about historics, but all in one body. You know what I'm saying? So when you do check it out, I have heard people have told me that and I do not condone or promote. Not that I don't condone, I don't promote smoking, but a lot of people say when they get high and hear that, it's a whole different mental trip. You know what I mean? But it's you know, using words, man. Using words and putting power within it. You know what I'm saying? Like I spoke about going through life and being, you know, Medusa's barber and going, you know, taking the Statue of Liberty to the prom.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
dope, man.
First person that taught Betsy Ross how to stitch, you know, all that. You know, Malcolm X, being Malcolm X, Tupac, you know, and just going through that mental trip, man, and just saying, like, at the end of it, man, when you check it out, talking about how the Grand Canyon is nothing more than my burial ground. You know what I mean? So when I decide to leave or decide to no longer cease, that's where I'm going to lay down. You know what I mean? And but yeah, it was one of those where it was just kind of like, yo, I'm just going to wordplay it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to put this artistry into a whole different realm of writing. And I didn't even know what I was writing when I wrote it. You know what I mean? When I was sitting there, like I said, 4 or 5 in the morning, again, just coming from seeing a female. So that kind of like I was hype and awake and wrote that down, and I never knew it was going to take off like that for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was like, yo, this is trash at first. And I was like, nah, hold on.
What line is the 2 Trans? That from the Bronx?
Nah, that's from
Brooklyn?
around the City College area, like the
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some girl that broke this dude off well. That motherfucker wrote one of his best pieces of work. I'm sorry to his wife. My bad.
Way before being married and having children and that.
Yo, we all have a little bit of a history, all right?
And by the way, it was not based on the person or the female. I just wrote that.
That's me starting trouble.
Yeah.
That's me talking shit.
Nah, I wrote that one day. I was talking to a friend of mine. He was a dope dude, man, and I just started writing. Nah, but you know, I mean, for the most part, man, it's just kind of like I get inspired by different things. You know what I'm saying? I got another track I wrote the piece in damn near 2-3 minutes, man, called I Spit, and that was all for watching.
So you probably have tons of fucking work, but just a few have been out there.
Yeah. There's about 4 to 5 that are currently on all streaming sites.
Is the plan to compose an album? Or?
Well, yes, I'm working on a project, my own solo project called Spoken Sword.
Dope.
Yeah. So
you got Spoken Sword. Right. You also got your podcast popping. What's the name of the podcast again?
Soundminds. So it's the like name of the podcast is off of our team, Soundminds. So shout out to my brother.
I watched a couple episodes. You guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, thank you. Shout out to Pup, man. You know, Pup, which is also known as King Rashaman. And shout out to my brother Self Suffice, which is also known as Rap Poet.
And we're gonna put all the links in the description. Definitely. I'm getting better with that shit.
Hey,
so you know when we talk about unity, when we talk about the Lower East Side and New York centric and gritty, raw, you know, but light at the end, like this is what it's about, you know? There's a reason why I wanted, I'm gonna call him Jorge. There's a reason why I wanted Jorge, because I want to make him for not speaking Spanish. Right. There's a reason why I wanted my man G, light skin out here, because I knew that he was, I knew that you embody that, like that artistic essence, but you're always that.
Yeah.
And that you haven't really moved from a character that I knew from when you were very young. And then you know, as I followed, you know, seeing the clips on Facebook, which is crazy because I hate Facebook, but you've been one of the more positive, impressionable things. So, you know, I caught some of the music, the videos, the podcast. So, I'm grateful I came across all that stuff. You know.
No,
so
thank you, man.
With that being said, it's I think it's important to for me to get my shit together and put all these links on the descriptions. What my point was, land the plane, Serge.
Right. No, but Soundminds podcast is named after our family, Soundminds. The whole theory or the whole stance on Soundminds is, you know, have a sound mind, you have a sound body. You know what I'm saying? So everything we do is kind of like to empower, to help out, and all of my brothers, man, all the brothers and sisters. A lot of what we do is kind of give a stage for people that may not feel like they have voices, or even just shine light on dope people. You know what I'm saying? So Soundminds podcast kind of took off Again, speaking of my brother Pup, you know what I'm saying? King Rashaman. Speaking of my brother Kaheem, self-suffice, rap poet. He got about 1,000 names. We ain't going to. He's from the Lower East Side too. But
he's on the run or something? Why he got so many fucking names?
I don't know, man. Sometimes I think it's multiple personality. But so the podcast itself came about last year upon COVID. We were going to talk about doing the Sound Minds project. You know what I mean? Putting an album out there. COVID hit. We couldn't hit the studio no more. We couldn't hit the studio and just be around each other. So it was just like, yo, what's up with the podcast? We still add, because we used to hold Sound Minds, man, originated back in like 98, 99, probably 97.
Same members?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Or you guys are changing it up like Menudo?
No.
Every 3 weeks. It's a different motherfucker.
We like the Destiny's Child of hip hop.
Menudo used to switch it up.
It's a lot too, man.
I mean, so I've heard. I never really fucked with that shit. I mean, I'm more of a, you know.
More of a NWA.
Yeah. I mean, I fucks with Public Enemy and NWA, you know.
So now,
I never really knew about Ricky before he blew. Before he blew.
So Sound Minds was still the same members. The family has grown. You know what I mean? Pup is like one of the newest members, man. Young brother who I met him last year, man, and it was just the vibe was right. You know what I'm saying? So like the mentality. Back in 97, 98, man, we was holding down shows, man. We actually was the only crew who ever would hold down hip hop shows in CBGBs. CBGBs was known for rock and roll and all that. You know what I'm saying? So these dudes, we stepped to them on some, yo, we want to hold down the show. They were like, yo, we don't do that. We don't do hip hop here. I said, I'll tell you what, let us hold down one night, see how it goes. Right. It became a monthly thing, you know what I'm saying? And then CBGs got, they got closed down, but that's neither here nor there. Right. But, so for the most part, back then we was holding down shows, man. Did shows in Pyramid, held down shows in Pyramid, held down shows in New Eurekan, held down shows in multiple places. And now it's just kind of like with us being older, it was just kind of like, yo, let's get our just due. We got a resume to talk about. You know what I'm saying? We brought a lot of dope hip hop artists that y'all know now, man, rocked with us back then, or we set a stage for them. And then with my own individual thing, Spoken Sword, that is more a project of spoken word tracks, but then separated by hip hop verses, like 16-bar verses. You know what I mean? And the whole Spoken Sword mentality or theory is, you have spoken word, but when a word becomes a sword, now it becomes that much more powerful. You know what I'm saying? So it's Spoken Sword, meaning that it is hip hop and in conjunction with, spoken word together. And I'm very, very big, man. You listen to any one of my tracks or anything I do, I'm very big on wordplay and going back to the essence of hip hop, the lyricism of things. You know what I mean? Listening to wordplay and just listening to entendres and finding out the double meaning of certain or triple or four. I got one bar. As a matter of fact, we dropping a single real soon called No Need. No Need is a posse cut with 5 Sound Mind members.
How many members are there total?
In total, there's a good, I want to say a good 10 to 11.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
You beat Wu-Tang.
You know what I'm saying? We out there.
Who's the early inspiration for you? Like if you had to choose like one rapper that you, Rakim?
Yeah, Rakim. Rakim was, Rakim, and then I heard the Symphony. You know what I'm saying? With Master Ace and Cool G and Symphony did it to me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I mean? Put a quarter in your ass because you played yourself. Like, I was like, yo, what is this? Right. And then my brother too. My brother used to rhyme. My brother was a big inspiration in my life. You know what I mean? He used to rhyme in the penitentiary circuit. You know what I'm saying? So he used to be ill, and when he would come out, I would hear some things, and I'm like, yo, man, my brother Butchie B, man, rest his soul. It's kind of like, yo, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? So I got enthralled with hip hop, and yeah, now he was a lover boy too. So the dude played the house music and all that. Every different female he had was like a different song or something, but hip hop was always there, and that's what I grasped.
I always find it interesting that freestyle music really does belong to like old school Puerto Ricans. Love freestyle
with
music.
The DA, you gotta have
the DA. And I remember my sister used to date a dude.
Right.
And this motherfucker was a big ass fucking drug dealer.
Right.
And it's like in the 80s. And he used to, motherfucker came with a ducktail with the DA, a bomber jacket, mad tight. And he had a friend that was named after an animal.
Okay.
And that was his right hand man.
Right. Yeah.
And they used to come in, listen to Maria.
Yeah.
And it was just so weird, like the contrast of like George Lamond and shit. Like it was the most like tacky freestyle music, but that shit spoke to you. But these dudes were G's, they were gangsters.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's it's a tremendous phenomenon, man. When you sitting there,
And it was
like,
and specifically Puerto Ricans liked it. Like
Yes.
black people didn't fuck with the freestyle from what I remember.
Freestyle was freestyle
White people
was
didn't fuck with
predominant
freestyle.
in
It was like
the
a lot of
Latino
Puerto
music.
Ricans from what I remember.
It was definitely, man. And then, of course, man, it was just kind of like, I think, the beauty of the Lower East Side, though, man, was that mixture of things. You know what I mean? You go into a bodega, man, you see an Asian person right next to a Caucasian person, right next to a Dominican person, Puerto Rican, Black, Jamaican, Haitian, and everybody speaking the same language on some,
we were close to a lot of, the Lower East Side, I mean, especially where we grew up, a lot of Asian, Jewish, I always was fascinated by the Asians, the Chinese from Apollo that spoke Chinese. Un chino latino. You got the pork fried rice, mad greasy. Un chino latino.
With the icy.
Yo, come on. Then they started flipping it and bouncing it on some other shit. You can get the blue Hawaiians and the iced tea and shit.
Man, them dudes, man. Yo, Lower East Side, man, I would never change nothing in the world. You know what I mean? I'm glad I was born and raised there. But yeah, so, for the most part, man, a lot of what we do, man, Salmons in general is really kind of give that essence of, we are hip hop's children. You know what I'm saying? We are the spawn of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And the culture of it. So, we're different members. So everybody has a different mentality of how they may do certain things. But we're always true to the core of lyricism, the DJing, the b-boying, the graffiti and all that. It's just kind of like, the four elements, that's what we represent. You know what I mean? That's where we came from. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so a lot of times, man, I don't sit there and judge on anybody else's art or artistry, but it's just kind of like, if you were of a certain age and you ain't preserving that essence, what are you really doing? You know what I'm
bullshit.
saying? Yeah, you know what I mean? But
last thing I want to touch on, and your book. You wrote a book years ago.
Yeah, it was 19.
Wow.
18, 19.
So you had a real creative spurt during that time because you got that music. You composed a lot of music, and that's interesting. That is a very creative age, like 18 to 24. You get a real good sense of who you are creatively. Sometimes I feel not that it's dulled later on, but we got responsibilities, right? And that's those creative juices don't flow as much. I even feel like that with my comedy right now. It feels like it requires a much more conscious effort now, as opposed. I think I was just a little more loose. I didn't have as much going on. Now it's a little more. I don't know. It just takes longer. And maybe that's just old man shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't get twisted.
We not as froggy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's something that happens when you first get into it that the juices are flowing. And right now I think you're in a lane and then you're limited to what you do, and that's what you do.
Right.
Maybe. I'm not quite sure what it is. It just doesn't. It doesn't come. I don't compose as much work as I did when I was younger. But I still come with shit.
I think a lot of it is growth, right? You know what I mean? I remember being in Sewell Park.
I like to be Bernard Hopkins of comedy, right? I gotta be patient my shots. I gotta do it. And then tie them up and wrap it. I can't be.
Sometimes whatever it take, man. You know what I mean? And I think, look, Bernard was 41, 30, 39. He was old as hell when he first got his belt. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes and I think a lot of it is matter of fact, in the yearbook of 56, it was funny. I had something written called Success, and I ain't even want credit for it because I was like, being a poet is not the thing. You know what I mean? I wanted to be but you can't be an MC on a book. You know what I'm saying? So, I had an anonymous cameo on a 56.
Oh, dope.
You know what I mean? But as I got older, man, I was being Sewell Park writing verses. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in the back of the class, and hey. So, Mr. Escalante, whatever happened just to kind of challenge me, I'm like, back then, and all right, cool, and go right back to writing my verse. I never fell short of what was happening. But then, as I got older, man, around that age, the 18, 19, it was just kind of like, this is dope. You know what I mean? My voice is being heard now. Back then, again, a lot of it is based off of opportunity. You know what I mean? Being a young Latino from the Lower East Side, we had the New Yorkers, but we have very small locations where we can sit there.
Pockets where really we're accepted and nurture it.
Right. That perfect word. The nurturing of it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, there you go, brother. There you go.
I was part of it too. I think you got that, right?
It's just kind of like there's not enough nurturing, and truth be told, man, like I mentioned FN, man, I love my brother, my godfather, Carlos Heredia, and, various other people that played a part in my life that were on a good, Ruckus Center, man. I was playing ball my whole life, man. Shout out to, Bob, Howard. Those are people that passed away. Frank from Ruckus. These are people that helped kind of, and then on top of that, definitely my mother and my father. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but
at 19, that was when the book was written. What was the book about?
So the book was, it's called Time for Peace.
Okay.
So real quick, it is no longer in print right now because it's over 10 years. After 10 to 12 years, they take it out of print until you put out a new version, which I will soon.
But it could be part of my dirtbag package if you act right. Got a vaccine card, an unlimited Metro card that only works on Sundays.
Right.
And I might have a book with a couple of pages ripped out, but it's like the Tookie Williams book. There's only like 15 floating around. I got a Tookie Williams book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was proud of that shit. It took me forever to get.
That's a dope book. Yeah.
But anyhow, go ahead. Continue. Carry on.
So, Time for Peace is the name of the book. It is the relationship between a poet and a tree, right? So the poet is symbolic to man, ignorance, not necessarily finding a way, being lost, whereas the tree was more so symbolic to woman or peace of mind or religion or whatever it is, depending on who the reader is. And as the relationship grew closer, as the poet started talking to the tree, he started writing poetry. So put poet and tree together, poetry. You know what I mean? And that's how their relationship kind of spawned. It was very therapeutic. Again, with the whole mentality of being that age of saying, yo, I'm a poet, owning that and saying, nah, yeah, I'm ill with mine. I spit crazy.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? So definitely thinking about putting out another version, because that's what you got to kind of do to keep these books in rotation. But it was taught in St. John's University, was taught in BMCC. I was doing a college tour back then, going around.
Wow.
And every piece that I finished with, spoken word piece that I finished with, funny story, I say LiteSkin 1, 2, 3. So when you see it written down, when I was doing these college tours, people, grown folk, I don't even know names, so I'm not disrespecting nobody, but no disrespect. But ask me like, hey, I got a question. I'm like, yeah, what's going on? Is LiteSkin a prophet in the Bible? I've never seen his name before. I'm like, nah, it's just me. 123 is my birthday. Oh my God, I was looking in the Bible and people were really looking
cold ass
for
birthday.
prophets. Oh, yeah, 123, baby, the Aquarius. So the book itself, man, it's crazy, man. It came out around the time of 9/11 too. So when my books came out, I had them in my car, and my girlfriend then, who was now my wife, she was in BMCC at the time, went over there to go get her. I had to leave my car over there, so all my books were in the trunk of the car. You know what I mean? So I had to get it like 2-3 weeks later. So it's a lot of history, man. The book is fire. You know what I'm saying? And when I do put it out, for the most part, it's going to be something that I'm proud of it now. But putting it out again, I'll be that much more proud of it because I think it's so timeless.
What steps are taken to put it back out? Just money? You got to get
finances is definitely a big one. And then also, man, shout out to my publisher back then, J.C. Gilchrist. Juliet Emmanuel, who was a professor in BMCC, who I need to reach out to. But nonetheless, she believed in the project, man. You know what I mean? It's funny how that happened. I had a professor who, my first year of college, my first semester, and I had the braids, and I was, coming out of the studio doing whatever, and coming in late, not late, coming in, but tired, and she kind of tried to use me as an example. She was like, yeah, guys, so like Mr. Escalante, we see, we know stigma stick with him. He is probably from the hood. And I was like, yo, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So, black woman at that, you know what I mean? So it touched me and I was like, yo, so make a long story short, towards the ending of the semester, she even used my writing in her book. She don't know that I know that. I don't even know if she's still alive, but I should have sued your ass.
So she committed plagiarism?
Yeah, it took my, you know what I mean? After me being the hood kid, you know what I'm saying, with the braids, now she taking them without even, so
she gets the Dirt Bag of the Week award
listen,
right up
man.
here. Let's get a picture, like a Polaroid picture of her, not even a nice picture of her, a Polaroid picture.
Don't even blow it correctly, just halfway.
Yeah,
the
halfway.
Marty McFly.
This Dirt Bag, what's her name?
I forgot her name, man.
It's all good. We'll get a Polaroid picture of her, and it'd be like the Seatown picture of the people who steal.
You can't go in there no more. Yeah, they still got that, man.
They still got that. Shout out to Earl, who always made that picture. No,
hell yeah, Earl, my man Earl, B.
Yeah. Actually, that's me bullshit. I never known everyone in the Hill knows who Earl is.
Yeah.
I never heard of him stealing it. That was just the name that popped up.
Earl's my guy.
Yeah,
That dude.
But he's a
at
neighborhood
least
staple.
140 years old.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like everybody.
Although I will say, funny Earl story before we get out of
Right,
here.
right, right.
We're going to put the descriptions and all that. Yo, Earl run up to you, right? Earl is, a dude from the hood. Everyone knows him. I'm not sure what the diagnosis is, but, there's something going on there, right? Yeah. And he comes up to me. He's like, yo, is Essex Street movie theater still open? I was like, yo, my dude, Earl. That shit closed down when fucking Ninja Turtles, the original one, came out.
Yep.
Like,
That was
and he was like, no, it's still open, movie. And he spit. And that shit was in slow motion. I was like, no.
Yeah, that's like a horror
And that
flick.
shit landed right here. Bah. So every time I see Earl, I walk away like he's a Spanish woman that needs directions.
I got a funny story about Earl too, man. So
he doesn't steal. I just use that.
Nah, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
I
steal,
want to
man.
make sure we maintain the.
My brother Earl, man. He I'm gonna tell a story real quick. So so the professor. So towards the end of the semester, I had asked. I was like, hey, look, I'm interested in writing a book. She sat there and straight up was like, yo, you never did nothing. Why would you? Like at that time, I wasn't performing or nothing. She was like, what have you done for me to even help you? I was like, yo, what you mean? You know what I'm saying? So, and I did perform, but it was at the fetal stages. Make a long story short, that week, then the week after semester's finished, I go perform in New Eureka. Turns out this woman volunteers there. She's like a big head person in New Eureka. And again, I don't remember your name. I would definitely shout you out if I didn't. She sees me perform on stage. She's like, oh my God, you're phenomenal. Oh,
You're electric.
Yeah, young man, the way you, about that book. I was like, nah, you straight up told me you couldn't do it because now you see. So, but then I said, you know what? Yeah, cool. So I put a note in what I thought was her mailbox. Turns out my publisher, she calls me, my publisher at the time, she called me and was like, hey, I'll be definitely interested in seeing the book. And this is a woman I never met in my life. Went to the office, she was like, hi. Like, hey, I'm sorry, you're not the right person. I said, no, well, I'm not, but if you're interested, let me see the book. Showed her some poetry. She was, she was enamored by it. Then I wrote the book in a month because it was originally just poetry. Then I made it into a story with the poetry in it. You know what I mean? So that book, Time for Peace, was written in a month. But yeah, man, it was just that. So to answer your question, finances, somebody who believes in the project and somebody who, has the because times are different. We don't have the Barnes and Nobles no more. We don't have, so everything is kind of like streaming, or it's kind of like, so a lot of the essence of what was great and rich before has been taken. So now it's just kind of like, now social media owns everything. You know what I mean? Digital owns everything. So, but yeah, man, I mean, I am so forever grateful to Miss Emmanuel George. I think she was so dope, man. And she, she was older at the time. Beautiful heart, beautiful spirit, and so on. She just believed in a young Latino kid. You know what I mean? So get into the Earl story. One time, Earl's so dope. He was playing, remember the wrestling game back in Charlie's?
Earl said what?
Earl, he's dope. He's dope.
They say so dope.
No. He doesn't sell dope either. No, this is so this dude Earl is in Charlie's arcades. I don't know if you remember Charlie.
Yeah. Charlie with that big ass wig.
Yeah.
We know.
My man had that Elvis Presley.
You know why I had to rain out his wig? Because I think it was spray. Yeah, how you have a white wig, but he sprayed it black.
Right, yeah. And then it was gold at times. So Earl sitting there playing the wrestling video game. Right? It was I cut lunch. We was a 56, matter of fact. One people, young Billies. This dude was in there playing, and he loses. And my man Earl says, a word? Y'all jump me. Yo, hold on. I'll be right back. Yo, this dude literally said he was going to bring people back for the video game. You know what I mean? And left and came back with invisible 6 people. And he was, shout out to Earl, man. Shout out to Lower East Side, man. But yeah, brother, I mean, for the most part, man, for those of you who are interested, invisible, all of them, and they were all tougher than the next.
Oh man, Lower East Side, baby.
Word up, man. You can't make it up, man, and I love
George,
it.
Man, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, brother.
Once again, plug in the podcast.
Sound Minds, so you can find the podcast on soundmindshiphop.com.
Dope. And that'll be in the description.
Yeah, that Sound Minds Hip Hop, the Facebook page. soundminds_podcast on IG. You can find me in Real LiteSkin 123. We RealLiteSkin 123. Serge is gonna put that up. As you see, hired pen. My pen is lethal. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I don't know if you want me to spit a little something.
Oh, please do. Close us out.
Cool. Let's
Yeah.
So and then you can find me, LES LiteSkin is my own YouTube page. You'll find all the videos, man. There's a dope joint, Letter to Gil, which is an open letter to Gil Scott Heron. Speaks about our current times and our current issues, talks about chemtrails and all that, if you into that type of thing, and really answers the question in regards to why the revolution will not be televised, right? So, whole bunch of other things on there, man. Go find that. So you know what, man, in the essence of the shirt, right? We'll do that. We'll keep it nice and sweet. So hired pen, right? I got this joint, 16 bars. It's called P.E.A.C.E. P.E.A.C.E. stands for penetrating everyone's nucleus, and is actually subtitled 9 pens because there's the usage of the word pen is throughout the joint 9 times, right? Fragment the sentiments, make penance through my pen ink. Release vengeance on easels to my soul that's expensive. Get in depth to the extensive. My thoughts rupture your appendix. Listen to my riffs. I'm Arch Jimi Pendrix. This is my spiritual ascension. I'm sick. Spit penicillin selfishly just to release tension. No false prophets or henchmen can stop my thirst quenching when I write words around throats and drop gems for the lynching. Let the pendulum swing if there are issues that need addressing. I got honest answers for all fabricated questions. The hell with a bag. I'm trying to secure my pension. If there's a list of top wordsmiths, my pen deserves a mention. LiteSkin 123. So, kind of mess up a little bit, man, but you know what it is, man.
That's a small thing, man.
It's a small thing.
Man, that shit was dope, man.
Yeah, you know what? I got one more. Just
go for it.
You know what? I'm going to do something that is already out there. It's called Take a Stand.
We get live and personal though.
Oh yeah,
he on the DBS podcast.
Yeah. Acapella.
I wish I could beatbox for you. Fuck, man. Whack.
Hey,
I'm limited to what I can do. Yeah, you can do Serge's podcast, but he ain't gonna speak Spanish or beatbox for you. You do what you want though.
So this right here is called Take a Stand. It is on all major streaming platforms. Very empowering. And like I said, that has a hip hop beat behind it. And like I said, go find that on all streaming platforms. Explain to me your definition of war when most of your soldiers are mental children, and you wouldn't know a real war if it was right outside your door, busy fighting for blocks that ain't yours. I'm at war when I step outside my building, seen as a threat when I'm a civilian, walk the streets like a regular pedestrian, yet police want me dead because my brain is brilliant. It's time to get militant. Because when a true soldier dies, a soldier cries. Another 100 soldiers lie on the front line waiting for the call of arms. This is just another form of modern Vietnam. I can't stay calm when they make bombs to wipe out nations or incurable diseases to control populations and segregation. That's the cold-hearted truth of our history. And that was made by our cold-hearted enemies, the Europeans, who took sands from a man after learning how to plant and stole the man from his lands, controlling with whips that turn into clips of 41 shots for dangerous wallets. They fear what comes out my lips. I'm at war with the government. Their drones are hovering. Come on, fam. We all fingers in one hand. Ball them fists in the air. It's time to take a stand. LiteSkin 123.
Woo!
So that's just a little something, man. I wanted to spit that for y'all because y'all gonna get it on the streaming sites if you go check it. But very, very detrimental to that whole piece is something that I wrote when I was probably 20, 21 years old. I can't stay calm when they make bombs to wipe out nations or incurable diseases to control population. So with that being said, man, at the end of the day, here it is, 2021, and diseases are being put out there and pushed to control population. So something to think about, and it kind of goes back to the vaccination, conversation we had, man. But Serge, it's been a pleasure, brother.
Thank you, man.
What you're doing,
I was trying to get but I'm too fucking slow, and I couldn't find out. I was trying to get a little bit of that piece on the IG Live.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's all good because this is gonna be pressed out and shipped out and out next week. So we're going to be good to
let's-
go.
let's get it.
DBS Podcast, my man George, LiteSkin Escalante. It was an absolute pleasure.
it's a pleasure, brother.
Lower
Thank
East
you.
Side,
Thank you. Hey, at all
represent,
times.
represent. What an absolute pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Come on, man. It's a pleasure being here, man. And I think thank you for your platform. You know what I'm saying?
we're
Thank you for
doing
what
it.
you're doing, man. And I think, and especially coming from that side of things of creating a platform as well with my brothers, this is one of the hardest things to do. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to this man for doing it. Shout out to Serge for not only being top-notch comedian, not only being top-notch human being, but also doing something like this to kind of create a stage for others. So
Yeah,
shout
I'm
out
not
to
a
you, brother.
top-notch human being. I have a rash on my leg that hasn't went away in months, and I don't know what to do about it.
So, we all have our flaws, you know what I'm saying? So the
Okay,
rash
it's
is
not a
his.
rash. It's scabies. It's scabies. I'm a pirate. We out of here,
With
man.
that being said, I'm going to go wash my hands real quick after giving them these pounds, man. Yo,
Peace,
shout
we
out
out.
to y'all, man. LiteSkin.
All right, what?
Peace.